إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم والشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد. When we take a look at Surah Al-Qasas and we see that Musa alayhi salam is sent to Fir'aun and he presents his miracles to Fir'aun, Fir'aun responds in ayah number 36 by rejecting it and saying this is just magic. Musa alayhi salam's response is very beautiful. وَقَالَ مُوسَى رَبِّي أَعْلَمُ بِمَنْ جَاءَ بِالْهُدَى مِنْ عِنْدِهِ وَمَنْ تَكُونُ لَهُ عَاقِبَةُ الدَّارِ إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Musa alayhi salam says in response to his rejection, claiming that this is just magic, what does Musa alayhi salam say? He says, my Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is more knowing of what is magic and what is truth, of who has come with guidance. He is more knowing of who has come with guidance from him, and to whom will be the success in the final abode. Who will in the end be successful? And then he says, إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الظَّالِمُونَ, that indeed the wrongdoers will never succeed. What is Musa alayhi salam implying by all of this? What is the point here? What is he trying to say? Musa alayhi salam is saying that first and foremost, true guidance comes from Allah. So for you to say that you have some monopoly over that, that is not the case. Secondly, he is explaining to Fir'aun that Allah in the end will always expose the true nature of a thing. In the end, the truth will always come out. And that his message, Musa alayhi salam's message, will withstand the test of time. He is speaking with certainty that my message will withstand the test of time, and that essentially your time is running out. Your time, you will not last. Why? Because you have built an empire upon falsehood. Your whole existence, all of your power is based upon lies. It will inevitably crumble. It will inevitably fall in the end. Maybe you're riding the wave of success momentarily, but it's all going to come crashing down, and in the end, my truth will come through. Why? Because I have the truth, I have reality on my side. The topic that I'd like to discuss today is about honesty and truthfulness. Because every single human interaction and cooperation has to, at some level, be based in a level of trust. No society on earth can exist without truth being the primary basis upon which interactions are done. That has to be, any society, if it's going to flourish, if it's going to succeed, if it's going to survive, there has to be a base level of truthfulness in every single interaction. Think about it. If you don't have honesty, without honesty, there's no ability to do, let's say for example, science. How could science ever progress? The whole way that science progresses is what? That you can trust the people of the past, their experiments, their conclusions, what they've arrived at. And then you can therefore build in the future, doing new experiments, documenting them, and then passing that on to later generations. If you don't have that foundation of trust and you have to do every single experiment personally, you'll never get anywhere. You'll never be able to benefit from all the progress of the past. Science is basically rendered impossible. If you take a look at history, it's even more obvious. Can you have any kind of history without trust? No. The whole idea of history, or journalism for that matter. The news. If you don't have any sort of level of trust, you can't trust news, you can't trust history, you can't trust science. You can't have any business. No business interactions can take place. Why? Because you don't know, everybody's out to cheat you. You could say, oh no, but it's okay. If somebody tries to cheat me, what do? I'll take them to the police. But if there's no level of trust, you can't trust the police. The law enforcement doesn't work because briberies, because everybody's just going to favor the people that interest them the most, so on and so forth. So the whole system, a whole entire society has to be predicated on this basic concept of trust and honesty. And if you want to take it, stop speaking from a more broad perspective, and you want to zero it into the family, you will never find a marriage counselor on earth, except that he will say, or she will say, that the primary basis of a successful marriage is trust. A marriage will never succeed. A relationship will never succeed without that basic primary ingredient of trust. They say that trust is the world's greatest currency. That of all the other currencies of the world, the most expensive one, the most valuable one is the ability of different citizens to trust one another. Now, of course, it should be mentioned that from the atheistic perspective, from a purely materialistic, naturalistic perspective, without the concept of God, then really we're living in survival of the fittest. There's nothing wrong with lying. There's nothing wrong with cheating your way to the top. Why? Because at the end of the day, you're just looking out for number one. There's no concept of an afterlife, of consequences. That the best thing to do is to take advantage of people at any means necessary and benefit yourself. Somebody might say, yes, but we know that we'll do better as a species if we're honest with one another. Even from an atheistic perspective, somebody could argue this way. My response to that would be, yes, you're right. But the intelligent atheist would, therefore, be a proponent, would give lip service to honesty and say, yes, we'll all do better if we all trust each other. So everybody trust me, and now I'm going to backstab you. And then simply take advantage of people, just use lip service, and then render himself number one. And then when he dies, they can clean up the mess. Why? Because I'm not going to exist for the rest of eternity. There's no consequences, there's no afterlife, so who cares in the end anyway? I'll just take advantage of this idea of trust for personal gain. However, the believer is the one, inshallah, we are the people who believe, number one, that truthfulness comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah is the source of all truthfulness, and that is Allah's attribute. As Allah tells us, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. Who is more truthful in speech than Allah? In another ayah, وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who is more truthful in their statements than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Many different ayat explaining that truthfulness is a quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's for that reason that the believer wants to get closer to Allah by also adopting that quality of truthfulness. If that wasn't enough, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly commands you to be truthful by saying, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. O you who have believed, fear Allah and what? وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. And be with the truthful. As in, be amongst them, be a truthful person yourself as well. Even though the believer recognizes and understands that honesty and truthfulness is something that will benefit us in society in this dunya, in addition to that, it will benefit most in the akhirah. In the dunya, yes, it will benefit us, but that is trivial in comparison into the afterlife, where there is an eternal reward. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, قَالَ اللَّهُ هَذَا يَوْمُ يَنْفَعُ الصَّادِقِينَ صِدْقُهُم. That Allah will say on Judgment Day, that this is the day when the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. This is the day that the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. Every time you were honest, even though it benefited you in this dunya, the true benefit will be reaped on Judgment Day. We know that, subhanAllah, beautiful ayah, where Allah describes those who believe, those who follow, those who obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah says, فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Those are the ones who Allah's blessing is upon them. Allah's blessing is upon them, and who are they? مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. That Allah says what? That those who have been blessed are first the prophets, and then number two, the people who are most associated with the prophets are the honest people, the people who speak the truth. Why? Because they affirm what the prophets say. They propagate that message. They promote that message, and they spread it all around. And then comes ash-shuhada, the martyrs, and as-salihin, the righteous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst them. So, we should remember the beautiful hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he says, أَرْبَعٌ إِذَا كُنَّا فِيكَ فَلَا عَلَيْكَ مَا فَاتَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Beautiful hadith. Mentioned in Musnad Imam Ahmad, it has an authentic chain. The Prophet ﷺ says that 4 qualities, if you have them, then whatever misses you in this dunya, it will not have a negative effect on you. Don't even worry about it. La alayk. Don't even worry about the things that either they happen to you, good or bad. In the end, you're going to have a good life. It's a beautiful hadith. What are these 4 qualities? Hifdhu amanatin, that you take care of your amana, that you are trustworthy, that when people trust you, you take care of the things that you are trusted with. Wasidqu hadithin, you have honest and truthful speech. And وَحُسْنُ خَلِيقَةٍ, that you have good character, and وَعِفَّةُ طُعْمَةٍ, and that you restrain yourself when it comes to food. You don't overeat. If you have these 4 qualities, you take care of the things you're entrusted with, you are an honest person, you have good character, and you don't overindulge, you don't overeat, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be happy, you're going to be loved. Even if you miss a job, another job is going to come on the way. Even if you miss a certain friend, another friend is going to come on the way. No matter what happens to you, if a relationship doesn't work out, there's going to be another relationship on the way. Why? Because you have these qualities, inshallah, the world is going to be at your feet. So let's all focus on having these beautiful qualities. Why is it that we lie? What is the objective that we are trying to achieve when we lie? You will always find that when somebody tells a lie, there is always some sort of a goal, some sort of an intent behind it. They always want to achieve something. That's why people in the end tell lies. But the first thing we should always remember is that honesty is the ultimate goal. Honesty is the greatest goal. So whatever goal you're trying to achieve, when lying, know that you've missed the bigger goal, the greater goal, which is remaining an honest person, always having the status of being a truthful person. That is the best goal that you can have. Nothing should supersede that goal, and that goal is a true manifestation of the concept of tawakkul. We know tawakkul means trusting in Allah, right? But you only truly trust in Allah when you say to yourself, Ya Allah, I'm going to speak the truth because you told me to. I'm going to speak the truth because you're going to be on my side. And if the truth leads me to a happy ending, leads me to success, then I will be grateful. And if it leads me to challenges, then I will be patient. But at the end of the day, I know that that consequence was the best thing for me. How do I know it was the best thing for me? Because truth brought me there. Because the honest truth brought me there, therefore that is exactly the best thing for me in my life. So we should trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And secondly, we should always remember that yes, you tell a lie because you want to achieve a certain consequence, right? You have a certain consequence in mind. But there's always going to be 2 or 3 or 4 other consequences that result from that lie that you did not expect. And so as a result of that, many people foolishly, they think, okay, then I'm going to cover up all those 2 or 3 or 4 different other problems. I'll cover those up with lies. But what happens then? Each one of those also branch out to more problems, and so on and so forth. The problem just keeps snowballing and becoming worse and worse. And then you always have to keep track of all of your different lies, and such a person will inevitably fall apart and will inevitably come crumbling down. Mark Twain has a very famous quote, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember a thing. It's a very famous quote, and it's very true. As long as you're being honest, you don't have to remember, oh, what did I say about that? What did I say about that? You don't have to remember nothing. Why? Because you're always telling the truth, and there is no problems, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah, I will continue with some of the devastating consequences of what happens, some of the devastating consequences of when we lie, when we tell lies, even small lies. Inshallah, I'll continue with that in the second khutbah. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Yes, even the smallest lies have devastating consequences. I'd like to give an example of something that happened very recently. Without getting into details, I was made aware of a group of youth that, mashallah, tabarakallah, they were very passionate and excited to organize something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They wanted to organize a certain event. May Allah reward them for their passion and enthusiasm. So they called as many people as they could. Please come to this event, please come to this event. You know, inshallah, we're going to have such and such speaker, and we're going to do such and such activities, and there's going to be food, and whatever. They tried to advertise it the best way possible. How many people? Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'll try my best. Oh, I'll try. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really want to come, and I'll try to come through, and so on and so forth. As you can imagine, the lie was that they were going to make it. Oh yes, I'll try my best. I'm going to come. Definitely, I'll see you there. You know, bright and early, no problem. And then so many people told this lie. So many people claimed that they were enthusiastic and wanted to participate. And then, the day of the event, very, very few people showed up. You might think, small lie, I just said, inshallah, I'll come, I'll try to make it, not a big deal. These are the type of lies it seems that all of us make on a regular basis. Oh, absolutely, I'll try to be there. Oh, for sure, no, I really want to. These are the type of lies that come off our tongue so comfortably. No hesitation whatsoever. What is the result? Let's analyze it a little bit. One of the things that happens as a result of this is that you take somebody who used to be so passionate about their deen and you transform them into somebody who is now resentful and angry. Somebody who now doesn't want to work with the Muslim community and does not want to do anything good for them, does not want to volunteer their time. Why? Because these people are liars. I'm sick of them. Every time I try to help them, they don't tell me the truth. They give me all kinds of promises and then they break their promises. I'm done with them. So, if you are the type of person that loves to tell these type of small lies just to get yourself out of a situation, just know that potentially you are helping in transforming somebody from being passionate about their deen into somebody who is resentful towards the Muslim community. But it doesn't stop there. Second point that is very important to keep in mind. What you should have done was told the truth. I don't want to come. If that's the truth, just say it. I don't want to come. Maybe the person might follow up and say, why? Well, I don't find the topic very relevant. Just tell the truth. I don't find the topic relevant. Or you know what? I find that the cause that you're trying to help out, I find it unworthy of my time. I don't find it interesting. Or you know what? I don't like your leadership. I don't like the direction you guys are going. I don't like you guys' attitudes. Just be honest. Just tell the truth. Tell them that you don't like their attitude, you don't like their leadership, you don't like their direction, you don't like their topics. Whatever the case is, just tell them. You know what happens as a result of that? You have now successfully transformed a person from being a passionate person to also being passionate and wise. Because now they get to learn. Oh really? I did not realize that the community needed something else as a focus. I did not realize that our advertising was weak. I did not realize that we are coming off as pretentious or arrogant or whatever the case is. I did not realize that we're not addressing your needs. Thank you very much for your feedback. We will be better next time. Now you're transforming a person into somebody who is very wise and understands the needs of the community. As opposed to being somebody who is delusional, who thinks that they're doing a good job promoting an event, but are actually doing a very poor job of doing so. So now ask yourself this very simple question. What would you rather have when you see a young, passionate Muslim who loves to promote their deen? Would you like to transform them into somebody who is both passionate and wise, or do you want to transform them into somebody who is delusional and resentful? And remember this, next time you want to tell a little white lie, as they call it, or whatever color you want to give it. It doesn't really make a difference. Whatever color you want to paint it with. Just remember what type of a person you might be creating. What type of a monster you might create. Because you and so many other like you and like ourselves are unfortunately so comfortable saying, oh, no problem, bro. For sure, I'll see you there. Inshallah. This is a very, very dangerous quality that many of us take extremely lightly. We need to stop lying to others. We need to also stop lying to ourselves. Many of us, we walk around with these delusions of grandeur that yes, I have so many wonderful qualities. I'll give a very simple example. I am a generous person. Why? Because I want to give to good causes. And then when the rubber hits the road, as they say, in reality, somebody comes up to you with a charitable organization, a charitable idea, and says, would you like to give to our cause? You say, you know what, I don't like their vision. Or you know what, I don't really see the point of putting my money into that. Or you know, I just think these people are going to waste the money. Or you know, in terms of those people, I think there's somebody who's more deserving. I don't know if they're the ones who are the most needy of my wealth. And so one after the other, you make all these excuses that I'm not going to give charity. At the end of the day, what happens? You go home thinking to yourself, I am such a charitable person. It just so happens that you haven't given $1, ever. You don't give money, but you know that you would if the perfect charitable organization would come around, which it won't because it's a fantasy. How many of us have these exact qualities? How many of us tell ourselves, I would do this or I would do that in some theoretical world, and therefore I pat myself on the back because it's as if I've done it? This is a very dangerous quality. So we need to clean this up and say, no, I am what I do. I can only evaluate myself based on the actual actions that take place. I can't just tell myself, or I can't tell others lies, and I can't tell myself lies. So the real question comes down to this. How do we stop ourselves from lying so much? How do we adopt this quality of being honest? We need to remember the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, where he says, دع ما يريبك إلى ما لا يريبك فإن الصدق طمأنينة وإن الكذب ريبة. That the Prophet ﷺ says what? That leave that which makes you doubtful for that which does not make you doubt. Why? Because the truth brings tranquility, and falsehood brings doubt and brings unrest. It sows unrest in the heart and doubt. I want us all to remember that from a psychological perspective, the ruh, the nafs, is made up of 3 main parts. And I can't go into all the details, but those of you that know, The nafs has nafs al-lawama, nafs amar bis-su', and nafs al-mutma'inna. That there is the soul that loves spirituality to get closer to Allah, mutma'inna. There's amar bis-su', the one who's constantly calling to evil. And then there is another nafs, lawama. The word lawm means to blame. The blaming soul. The soul that is constantly reproaching. In other words, I want you to imagine, to make it really simple. You're hanging out with your friends. You're all sitting around in a circle and you're all talking. And as you're talking, you're saying different words. It's as if there is this other version of you that is somewhat above you, that is almost floating out of you, watching everything that you say and judging it. And oftentimes that little voice in the back of your head will be saying what? It'll be saying things like, you don't really know that. You're saying that to your friends, and you're acting like you know that, but you're not really sure. You don't really know that for sure, do you? And then that little voice might say something like, you're just trying to win the argument right now. You're not really you're not really confident about what you're saying, you're just trying to win the argument, come on. Or it might say something like, you're just trying to show off, aren't you? Or it might say something like, that's a half-truth, you're omitting an important factor. And so there is this aspect of yourself that hangs above you, and that judges you, and that comments and says, this is not 100% true. Now, the way you can become a truthful person is if you pay more attention to an-nafs al-lawama. If you pay more attention to this reproaching soul. If you always pay close attention to anything that gives you any sort of doubt, any sort of uncomfort, any sort of weakness, and you say to yourself, I'm going to throw it away. Now, a lot of people might say, I don't want to do that because if I do, then I might say something that I truly believe in, but it might be wrong, right? Nobody's saying that you're going to be correct all the time. I'm saying be truthful and honest. That's the good part. That you might say something that is completely incorrect, but because it came from the heart, alhamdulillah, people will correct you. People will tell you, do you really believe this? Yes, I believe this. Well, you're wrong, and here's why. But the liar, the one who just conforms with people, he never says what he truly believes. He just conforms with the masses, therefore he's never corrected. Therefore he never grows and learns. It's better to be honest and wrong, tell the truth of what you think, be corrected, and learn as an individual. Now you're actually making progress. That's actually much better. Sometimes people say, no, I don't want to tell the truth. Why? Because it's going to make people uncomfortable. I don't want to say a truth that is uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Stick to the uncomfortable truths. It might make people dislike you. It might make people uncomfortable. But alhamdulillah, at the end of the day, they will always respect you. People will always respect the person that tells the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Some of us might say to ourselves, I don't want to do this. Why? Because if I were really so critical of my words, and I abandoned everything that gave me even a little bit of doubt, at the end of the day, I'm going to abandon 90% of my speech. 90% of the things that I'm going to say are going to be thrown away. My response to that is, alhamdulillah, go for it. You know why? Because if you throw away that 90%, what will remain is that last best 10% of your speech. Everything that is pure, everything that is from the heart, everything that is sincere, everything that is good, that last 10%, it'll be the best thing that you put forward into the world. Those are the type of words you want to share with the rest of the world around you. That's what you want to give to humanity. That perfect 10% that is 100% honest. Even if it's incorrect, because inshallah you will be corrected as long as you are honest and open-minded. And as a final point, inshallah, as my time is running out, the final point that I'd like to make is that many of us, unfortunately, we have this idea, oh, I want to be nice. I don't tell the truth because I want to be nice. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. So I'll just kind of mask reality. I'll just kind of hide it for them. My response to this is that there is no protection from reality. You can't escape reality. The more you try to fight it, the more you will be overwhelmed. And this is true from the perspective of looking at the word reality as just what exists, but also from the fact that the name of Allah, Al-Haq, means the truth. It also means the reality. So every time you try to cover somebody or protect them from reality, you're only making yourself weaker and you're only making them weaker. Take refuge in truth. Take refuge in reality. Take refuge in Al-Haq, the ultimate truth and the ultimate reality, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will make yourself stronger and you will empower others. Even if they hear a truth that is uncomfortable, that is difficult for them, inshallah ta'ala, at the end of the day, they will be stronger for it. May Allah make us of those who are strong and empowered by our words. May Allah never make us of those who are too cowardly and weak to always tell, and that we tell lies because of our cowardice. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who spread the truth as best as we can and never shy away from the truth. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وأقم الصلاة.